All right, so we have our Florida correspondent on the show, and we want to welcome in our California correspondent, Michelle Yu. Michelle, thank you for taking time to talk with us today and give us a little update on what's happening with the California wildfires. It's obviously been very, very devastating just to watch from afar. Just can you tell us, the situation in LA County and at Santa Anita right now?
The fires were obviously very scary and they are still ongoing. As of today, the Eaton County fire, or not county, Eaton Canyon area, which is where we were affected, is at a 45% containment. We've lost over 14,000 acres and close to 8,000 houses or vehicles in that fire. But thankfully, everything at the racetrack has been kosher. A lot of us lived through and still remember very vividly the fires at San Luis Rey several years back. We had to turn horses loose from the training center there and then go round them up in the city. And we were desperately hoping that wasn't the case. Preemptively, Santa Anita did offer to relocate horses for us to other jurisdictions or other training centers in Southern California. And honestly, I think only one trainer moved part of his string to his other string at San Luis Rey. Everybody else stayed because Santa Anita was pretty confident that we would be able to shelter in place and not be affected. Obviously, the smoke did get pretty bad down there for a day or two, but there were like these great pockets of breeze that kind of moved through, keeping it from being too stagnant. And, the days that the smoke was really bad, we did not train. We had a couple of days of missed training. We had a couple of days where you were allowed to jog, but not work horses. So, everybody got through it kind of in the same vein. As far as the people situation go, it was turmoil and it's still turmoil. We have several people from the racetrack that lost everything, including jockey Mario Gutierrez lost his home. A couple of Gallup girls lost their homes. One big fan and a minority owner, her and her family lost everything they had. So as a kind of a community, we've been rallying together behind these people that lost so much. And, Santa Anita did cancel racing last week and we turned Santa Anita into a donation center, and the volume of people that showed up to help was absolutely incredible. They brought out clothes and shoes and dog food and medication and toothbrushes and toothpaste and food and so much stuff. And we went and volunteered today, just handing out to people that came up. And, there were some people walking around shell shocked almost. And there were some people that were, just there jumping in feet first and handing things out. And then you found out later they had lost, their home, or they'd been evacuated. They haven't gone back, but instead of taking for themselves, they were there helping. So, it's really brought a lot of people together. Unfortunately, it took a disaster to do that. But I think overall, everyone here is good. Even though we're only at a 45% containment rate, we haven't seen a lot of spread. And the air here is much, much better. I mean, you can see a slight haze kind of farther west than we are, but overall it's been, really good out here. Once everyone got evacuated and is safe, a lot of people were able to move back home. We actually had 3 families staying with us for the entire week. And they all went back home on, what day was it? Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, they went back home.
Yeah. I mean, that has to feel good to have that sense of family around you in such a tough time like this.
I mean, it does. It's nice that everyone comes together and it's not just every man for themselves.
Right.
Sometimes you just kind of stood there in solidarity with everybody. We had like Zoe, right? Zoe lost power to her home. Her house wasn't in like imminent danger. But she came over and didn't have power for 2 days and brought her food to the freezer and was able to just kind of commiserate with everybody else that was over here. We still have people that our homes are okay, but the smoke damage was so intense inside, they haven't been able to move home yet. So, they're just letting people up to kind of get stuff and come back. The National Guard is there. So you have to have like a driver's license to get up your street and like a reason to go. So there's still, some of that, but we are trying to, be as helpful as we can for people like that are okay eventually, but just displaced for now. And it's very gratifying, I guess you could say, to see how everybody has come together to help.
Totally. It's not as important, obviously, as making sure that everybody is safe and everybody's made whole after this disaster. But, I do want to ask about racing at Santa Anita. Like, do you think that we've turned the corner and, it's only going to get better and they're going to be able to race consistently going forward? Or are we not out of the woods yet?
So I think that we should be on the upswing. We drew for 5 days this week of racing. We were able to move one card in its entirety, and then the rest of the cards that we had planned for last week when we had cancellations were, re-added as extras with priority for the people that had already entered. But, we couldn't just sub, all these days, unfortunately. It would have been nice just pick up the card and move it in its entirety. But we are adding more racing days. So we added this Thursday. We already raced this holiday Monday. We added next Thursday as well. So we are going to try our best to get in all of those races that were scheduled that don't get written back as extras or didn't get filled as extras immediately. We had really full fields last week, and coming into this week, we had a dirt race with 8 in it. They didn't use it because we had dirt races with 10 and 12 horses in it. So, people definitely are wanting to run. It looks like it's going to be fine here. As far as out of the woods, we are still close to where the Eaton fire is. But like I mentioned, the air quality has been very closely monitored and it looks tons better there. I expect it to be fine because when we go down to Santa Anita, it doesn't feel heavy anymore like it used to feel, the first couple of days. I guess in theory, if the winds picked up, that could change. But where Santa Anita is located, we are south of like a freeway and there's like tons of block walls. We had crews on site during the fire that had huge lights. So everything was floodlit so we could see everything. We had guys with water, trucks there. Obviously, we still have some palm trees and we do have wood barns. So, there was a fright that an ember could come and catch. But because we had so many people there being vigilant, we felt pretty confident that it was not going to be an issue. We've had fires close by Santa Anita before that came down and they couldn't jump the freeway as well. So while if you look at like an overhead map, we look relatively close. I think from the fire, we're still 5 or 6 miles. So embers would have to travel a pretty long way. So I think as long as the air quality remains where it's at or improves, which hopefully as we add containment, it's going to improve, we should be just fine.
So, Michelle, for people that are watching, what are ways that we can help, or do you have any resources of ways that everybody watching, can reach out or do anything to make an impact and help?
Yeah, so Santa Anita on their website actually has kind of put everything together as far as if you want to come help donate or make a donation, whether it be monetary or an item that they're in need of. They've made a running list for the different groups that are in our area, because it's not just Santa Anita. We had the Rose Bowl, the Pasadena Humane Society. There's a lot of different groups all. So if you go to Santa Anita's website, we have all that in one spot. As far as the individual people that I mentioned, we do have the family, the Greg Biggs, that they didn't have to do a GoFundMe. They just have a Venmo, and a lot of people have been trying to reach out to be able to help them. So let me see if I can find that now that I even mentioned it. And I know there's a couple other people that are going to be on the TDN. Dan Ross is going to be writing an article, and he's going to have individual links if they have GoFundMes or whatever up. So that way you can, reach out to them directly to help the people that we know that were an immediate loss and really in need, that are still displaced. That, the Greg Biggs left their home with one suitcase each. So they have nothing. So we're definitely trying to help, them that way. It is regular dash GREDVIG to help the racing family that lost
We'll
their
put
home.
that up on the bottom of the screen. And Michelle, thank you so much for coming on and keeping us updated. We're thinking about you guys. We're praying for you guys out there. I hope everything continues to move in the right direction. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys.